All right, so we're continuing to record, I hope. And I hope I didn't screw that up. All right. So as I go through and look at what you've accomplished here, let me see here. Yeah, discussion 3. Everybody did fine. We got that in. Let's see, chapter 1. Let's see how we did here. Sorry, it's taking a little while for it to load up. I don't know why everything got so slow. So I hope everybody's hanging in there with this shelter in place. But hopefully it's next week. Okay. All right. So I see 3 of you turned it in. I'll have to talk to a couple of your fellow students. All right. Now remember on this similarity grade, this is similarity to what is in the database. So if you bring in an outside quote, a concept from the text, reword to a degree instructions out of the Moodle shell or out of my weekly instructions, you'll hit on the similarity scale. This is not a plagiarism device. Okay. What this does is it just tells me that a certain line that you've written is similar to one found elsewhere. From there, we go to figure out what's going on. If you are properly citing other people's work, you have nothing to fear. Okay. And on your papers, if you have, for example, 11% or even a 20%, that's a good number. Okay. If you have 100% similarity, that's bad. That means every word in your paper is showing up in the database in that order. Okay. That's almost unheard of, although I have seen a couple 90s, and those were just direct lifts, clear plagiarism. Okay. Conversely, if you have a 0% similarity, that means you have not brought any concepts from other coursework into your paper. So you've really got no evidence that you're using. And that's not good either. So what you need to do is target about like the 11% here, or about a 20% maybe amount of similarity, and then make sure that you properly cited it. Okay, remember the difference between a research paper and plagiarism is proper citation, and you'll want to use APA formatting for that citation. You know that if it's a direct quote, usually a sentence, that goes into quotation mark, and the author and the location that you found that quote. If you are paraphrasing a chapter or a paragraph or a concept, then that means at the end of that paragraph, you are placing a citation of the author and where it was found. Okay. And then, of course, make sure you've got a references page so I can check your references. Okay. All right. I think we've covered that one pretty good. So, week 4, well, that's hard to believe. Your discussion question due tomorrow. is summarize what learnings you found in each book at this point and identify, discuss similar different approaches into one 2-page paper. Okay. So, here I'm giving you an opportunity to kind of think through and identify some of the Salvation Army book. Sorry. Early on was there when he was page 31. He identified in engaging the spirit 7 categories that were bottom line principles to the big idea. Put people in your purpose, embody the brand, lead by listening, spread the responsibility, organize to improvise. I mean, just superb, just superb. Okay. Further, in an earlier or later chapter, I think, where was that at? Was that 40, 41, 51? Help me out here. I'm a little bit stuck for some reason. Yeah, so on page 47, he talks about Charles Brewer, who founded MindSpring and then ultimately Earthlink. Okay, so here was a Stanford MBA student who was tired of his internet service provider because it was lousy service. Not even knowing what type of business he was going to go in once he got his degree. He wrote down what his core values and beliefs were. He put down 9 and he added a 10th. Think about that. He took his time while he was in your shoes to already start thinking about what organization he was going to run and what some of those lines in the sand were for him. You don't need to know exactly what business you're going to go in. Regardless of whether you're going to sell something, provide a service, work in a nonprofit, run a household, there are certain core values and beliefs that organization is going to be made up of. How you treat people, how you expect people to be treated, how things are going to run, what is your take on integrity? I mean, these are the basics that all organizations need to have because ultimately this is what the culture should be. Okay, we all know that there are organizations that talk the talk but don't walk the walk. That is no reason not to have these done. And the fact that he did this before he went into business shows me how serious he was. It's something I think that is instructive for all of us. Okay. All right. So you're going to pull out what you learned. And you're going to pull this in a 1 to 2 page paper. Okay. Very fast and easy. Okay. What are some similar approaches or what were some different approaches? So if you say that, hey, I think how each handled their organizational structure, it could be they did it both right. Okay. In one organization, it tends to invert the pyramid, the hierarchical pyramid, where in another organization, chain of command is very important. Well, it worked, for each different, but it worked. So, part of this becomes, the similarities and different approaches, work. So, why is that? Why does it matter? In some aspects, it's understanding your organization. In some aspects, it's a matter of how you're approaching it. And in some, hey, if it works, run with it, albeit if it's legal, right? Okay. And then let's go down your assignment for 4. Okay, so I want you to go on the company's website and explore, okay? And then I want you to give me an impression of the website. Give me your impression of the website as if you're the CEO. Okay, I'm okay with personal opinion. I like that color. I didn't like that shape. That's okay, but that's not, to me, what you're hearing this course for. This is a leadership course. So from a leadership perspective, does this website work? Okay. What is it that you expect the website to do? Is this something that you're passing information on? Is this something that you are referring people to? Would you hire based off of your website? In other words, is there a section for people to inquire about coming to work for you? Would you hire somebody that answered um, a an ad, if you will, a request for staffing off of a website? You see what I'm getting at? So part of this is um, take a look at it from a leadership perspective. You run in the organization, okay? And again, remember, this is your ability to get your message out. So, if there are things on there that just aren't working, like, it doesn't load properly, or the links don't work, well, then that's a perfectly fair, legitimate gripe that you should bring up. Okay. In other words, why have a website if we're not going to spend time on it? And do I want my organization represented on social media by a defective or a not fully developed site? Okay. And then what did you notice at the websites that would attract potential employees, okay, and future clients? In other words, are there things on there that would make me want to join your organization? Are there things on there that would make me want to solicit help or use your organization? Okay, that's what we're getting at there. So give it some thought. Again, try to get in the role of the CEO, the senior leadership, and giving your perspective. I'd be excited to see it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Appreciate everybody's time and patience, and let's get started. Okay, I got a couple things I've got to deal with for University of Mount Olive, but again, tomorrow my plan is give you a little feedback on your chapters, and then we'll go from there. Hang in there, keep at it. You're halfway through. Some of you are graduating, which is an exciting time, and I'm just sorry that the shelter in place has put a damper on some of the fun, but don't let that detract from the fine achievement that you're about ready to enjoy and solicit or receive from our good Lord. Okay. With that, take good care, and we'll speak with you later.